It's 4:40 p.m. here in Seoul. I'm Devin Whiting at the Arirang News Center, and it's time for today's briefing from the South Korean health authorities. It looks like that's beginning now. Let's listen in.
Today's briefing will be provided by Mr. Son Young-rae from the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters. Will be providing sign language translation. First, we will hear from Director General Son Young-rae about the countermeasures against COVID-19. I will now start the regular briefing for Sunday, July 4th. Today at the Central Disaster and Safety Countermeasures Headquarters, we had discussion about strengthening measures in the Greater Seoul area. I'll now update you on the developments for the past week. Over the past week, on a daily average, there were 655 newly confirmed cases, compared to more than a bit over 400 from the previous week. There was an increase by more than 30%. It used to be around 400 to 500 newly confirmed cases on a daily average from the previous week. However, we saw a dramatic increase last week. And of these, the Greater Seoul area saw an increase about around 40%. And the metropolitan area is accounting for more than 81% of the newly confirmed cases across the country. And we are not seeing a special increase in other areas. For the reproduction rate, due to this increase in the number of newly confirmed cases, it rose. And compared to 0.99, it increased to 1.2 for last week. And for the age group, the number of patients in the age group of 60 years or older is decreased thanks to vaccination. However, we are seeing an increase in the other cohorts. Especially, we see a dramatic increase in the number of cases in those that are in their 20s. And however, we are seeing a continuous decrease in the number of severely ill cases, and the accumulated rate is also decreasing. And with the decrease in the number of severely ill cases, we still have capacity in our medical system. We have enough room in the ICU units, so we can actually have more than 500 people be hospitalized immediately, even if they are severely ill. And we also have room for around 7,000 hospital beds. However, if we see an increase in the newly confirmed cases as we see now, we will see decrease in the number of availability in the Greater Seoul area and other metropolitan areas. And there are also risks that exist. First of all, socially, we see that there is less tension on disease control. People are enjoying entertainment facilities and are actually going on trips, and we are seeing an increase in the revenue here. And this is due to the increase in the number of gatherings and trips being taken by people. As an example, for the entertainment facility, compared to the second week of June, we saw a 26% increase in the revenue for the fourth week of June. And the temporary screening centers are seeing actually a decrease in the number of visits. Per one confirmed cases, we saw 109 cases of tests compared to 115 across the country. There is actually a 10% drop, and we are seeing an increase in the number of variant COVID-19 cases as well. We saw the number of variant cases in 38.5%, and when we look at the overall number, 7.0% accounted from the Delta variant. We are seeing an increase in the variant forms in Seongnam area and Mapo area, where we see the after-school institutes. The epidemiology research is actually insufficient in the metropolitan area as well. Per confirmed cases, we saw 7.9 cases of the contact categories, and compared to 10.9 across the country, it is actually lower in the metropolitan area as well. So it seems like we are missing out on those that are hidden, and it could lead to an increase in the number of cases. In order to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the metropolitan area, we had discussion about strengthening social distancing measures in the metropolitan area. First of all, we're going to have a crackdown on the monitoring. Starting on July 1st, entertainment facilities, religious facilities, and other multi-use facilities will see an increased monitoring. And if there are any violations in the disease control measures, we're not going to be tolerating anyone, and we're going to make sure to penalize those that are violating. And especially for the cities and the guns where we see a lot of violations, we're going to make sure to strengthen the social distancing measures and also forbid any gatherings. And we had discussions about this with the local governments. And we are going to have an administrative order of preventing people from having gatherings after 10 p.m. And regardless of people being vaccinated or not, we're going to have it so that people will have to wear face masks indoors at all times. And for Chunggu and Gangnam-gu area of Seoul, where we see a lot of the people-to-people movements, we're going to have an increased number of temporary screening centers, and we're going to operate this until 9 p.m. on the weekdays, and we're going to also increase the working hours in the weekends as well. And we're going to make sure to increase the number of testing, and we want to ask everyone to participate. For the metropolitan area, we're going to increase the number of epidemiology research and the number of relevant personnel as well. So we're going to send people out. And in order to increase the number of working here, we're going to come up with the necessary countermeasures. And for each of the districts, we're going to have other research, and we're going to disclose of our plan once per day. And for any insufficiency, we're going to ask for improvements. We're also going to strengthen the countermeasures against the variant form of COVID-19. And starting on July 1st, we have actually excluded 8 countries from entering Korea, and especially for those where there was a high number of infections, we're going to have the people from those countries have the PCR testings done before they actually board the airplane itself, and they will not be able to come if they do not submit the test results. And also, we're going to increase and strengthen our measures to 20%. And for the metropolitan area, we're going to strengthen our measures to 25%. We're also going to make seamless preparation for our medical system. Right now, we have 9,300 hospital beds in the metropolitan area, and we still have room for 4,200. We do not see an increase in the number of severely ill cases. However, we see an increase in the mild cases and also those without symptoms. So we're going to strengthen measures in this regards. And for the residential facilities, we're going to increase them. And we're also going to make sure to multiply hospitalization into these facilities and entrance as well. The government is striving hard, and if you need details, please refer to the press release documents. Next, we will explain the countermeasures for those facilities that are related to the vacations and trips. In preparation for the possible increase, we're going to do a site monitoring for the water parks. And also for 500 areas, including the amusement parks, we're going to do site monitoring there as well. In addition, we're going to have discussion sessions with the industry, and we're also going to gather opinions from the site. And for those that are working in the relevant sites, we're also going to ask all of you to make sure to follow the disease control measures strictly. Dear citizens, we are seeing a spike in the spread of COVID-19 in the metropolitan area once again. We do not see an increase in the case of the severity. However, it is quite risky, and we see an increase in the number of variant form of COVID-19 as well. With the resurge of COVID-19, we do understand that you will probably feel tired. The government, together with local government, is making efforts, and we will make sure to have all the necessary preparations be in place. However, we also want to ask our citizens to make effort again and make sure to raise tension so that we can be prepared for COVID-19. And especially for the metropolitan area, we need help in terms of vaccination. And we also need to have people refrain from going outside, especially if they are not vaccinated. And we want to ask you to refrain from having any gatherings. Please make sure to wear face masks when you're indoors, and please make sure to be careful, especially when you are in crowded and confined spaces. We hope that we will be able to overcome the situation once again together with the government. The government will work together with our citizens so that we can resume our BAUs as soon as possible. Thank you.
지금부터 질의응답 시간을 가지겠습니다. 브리핑은 사회적 거리두기 조치로
And that'll conclude our coverage of this briefing. Thank you for watching. Arirang News will be back at 6 p.m. Korea time. Bye for now.